Hawkeye and Scarlet Witch solving a murder mystery? This should be lighthearted fun! What is up, everybody? Random Random Man here, bringing you my review for Wind River. Now, the plot basically takes place on the Tidal Native American Reservation in Wyoming, where a U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service tracker, played by Jeremy Renner, and an FBI agent, played by Elizabeth Olsen, are tasked with solving the murder of a young Native American woman who stumbled out in the middle of one night barefoot and died in the cold and snow. Going into this movie, I was really excited as a lot of buzz for this film came all the way back from January of this year. As I've said this a lot lately, this is yet another movie out of this year's Sundance Film Festival that I was really pumped for. With this film specifically, I was anticipating it because it came from the writer of both Sicario and Hell or High Water, Taylor Sheridan. Both of these movies I dug a lot when they came out in the last 2 years, and this film is both not only written by Sheridan, but also directed by him, and it is being touted as his directorial debut, despite him having previously directed a low-budget horror movie titled Vile, yet that movie I don't hear a lot of people talking about, so Wind River is being touted as Sheridan's big foray into directing. With the cast and their performances, Jeremy Renner in the lead role of this tracker simply does a terrific job. I have not seen him give such a nuanced performance since The Hurt Locker. This is his best performance since that film, and dare I say, probably his best ever because of how subtle he delivers what his character is supposed to convey. This is a guy who knows the Wind River Reservation like the back of his hand, but also knows the people who inhabit it. He is linked to the murder of this young woman in how he knows the victim's family, and he himself was married to a Native American woman and they had a son together. So we see how much of a broken man Renner's character is on the inside, also because of when we learn about a personal tragedy he suffered in the past. But he tries to keep it cool on the outside, especially when he gets roped into solving this mystery with the FBI agent played by Elizabeth Olsen, who is also great here. Yeah, I made the obligatory Avengers/MCU joke in the intro of this video, but this movie really does show how both of these actors really can act in a film that is drastically different than the big boffo blockbuster films that they are currently in as well. Olsen's character as the FBI agent specifically is a character that is very plucky, as one character states in the film, as she is totally out of her element, unlike Renner's character, who again knows the Wind River Reservation like the back of his hand. Olsen's character even arrives to this reservation with improper clothing, and she would have froze to death had she not gotten the proper gear. In turn, I also really enjoyed how Olsen and Renner's characters were able to bounce off of each other in solving this murder mystery. Other worthy mentions of the cast in this film are Gil Birmingham as the victim's father. He gave a very good performance last year as the partner to Jeff Bridges' character in Hell or High Water, and in Wind River, he has a much smaller role where he is only in a few scenes, but he gave a heartbreaking performance. I really felt the pain this character was going through and just having lost his daughter in a horrific manner, but it also by extension made me feel sorry for how Native Americans are treated in America today, as it is exemplified in some of the end text of this film before the end credits. John Bernthal also shows up as a pivotal character in this film, who I am not going to give away, but basically everyone in this film does fantastic jobs performance-wise. The writing in this film sets up a very harsh atmosphere in this location of Wind River. And we also get introduced to Jeremy Renner's character quickly, getting to know who he is and how he gets put into helping the FBI agent played by Elizabeth Olsen and other authorities at this reservation solve this murder mystery. It takes a little bit to get into what is going on. It is deliberately slow-paced in that regard, yet what the writing and in turn direction by Sheridan sets up is something that left me wondering what was going to happen next. It's really cliche for me to say that in retrospect, a murder mystery really wanted me to find out what happens next, because by their very nature, they're supposed to set up intrigue anyway to see how the plot transpires and you figure out the missing pieces too. But what Wind River does in being a murder mystery / drama is not go the straightforward route in dropping subtle hints of who really was responsible for the death of this young woman, as the movie gets you engulfed in Wind River itself being a character, a very desolate environment. It drops us into some harsh realities that go into living in an environment like this, and it also doesn't stray away from how brutal it can be too. The violence in this movie surprised me quite a bit for how hard-hitting it is in its short bursts, because this is not an action-driven movie at all. Do not go into this film expecting a lot of flash bang boom action, because you're not going to get that. It's more so about how crafted the film is in getting you into the environment of Wind River, but also how these characters are going about solving this murder mystery. For that though, how it is all shot is stunning. The cinematography in this movie is really pretty to look at. A lot of times you're looking at white because there's a lot of snow where this movie takes place. The production design and how the snowy mountain landscapes back up the gorgeous cinematography was nice to see, also with the impending wildlife that populate this expansive area. The score for this film, the same composers who did the music for Hell or High Water also did the score for Wind River, and just like Hell or High Water, the music in the film is subtle, very ambient, but also effective with some stringed instruments. The movie is excellently edited in how it transitions from scene to scene. The pacing of this film is noteworthy too. The movie runs at about 1 hour and 50 minutes, so just under 2 hours, but for the most part, I did not feel the pacing at all. My only real issue with the film is the pacing at the beginning, because the first 15-20 minutes or so take a little bit to get into, like I have mentioned before, but that does not create a lot of deviation in how I felt about this movie overall, because all in all, this is a murder mystery film that is one of the more visceral movies I have seen all year, but couple it with the acting, the writing, the direction, all other technical merits of the film, and just how in the end, without giving anything away, how satisfying this movie is in the way it concludes. All of it coming together makes for a superb viewing experience that will stick with you after you have seen it. It certainly has with me after knowing about the final end text at the end of the movie, but also just how it came together. This is one of my favorite movies of 2017 thus far. I highly recommend it. My final verdict for Wind River is 4.5 out of 5 stars. Thank you all, as always, for watching. Be sure to like this video, comment on what you thought of Wind River, subscribe to my channel for more, and I'll catch you on the next movie review.